Hello, Gemini, and welcome to my channel, Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, looking at your connection to the person that you are dealing with and needing to learn the most from right now. We are looking at all three sides of the connection. We've got your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it, the concept being that there are three sides to every story. So we're looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle, this middle section, looking at what is the deeper purpose of this connection and what is the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. As I do in all my readings, I've pulled the overall energy and clarified those messages, as well as the overall theme for the reading, which we'll jump into in just a second. But I still have a different tarot deck we'll be pulling from for each side of this connection, as well as an advice deck that I'll be using to close out the reading in the extended. Any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading with me is in the description box below. Last thing, please remember that these are general readings. They are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and leave what does not. On that note, the whole reading can be reversed. If that is the case, that's totally fine and totally normal. Again, please remember, take what helps, leave what doesn't. All right, Gemini, let's start with your side of this connection. You have magnetic connection with the 9 of Swords here. So the way that I see this energy is that, well, there's obviously you have a very strong pull to this connection, a very strong pull to this person. But then with this 9 of Swords, there's a lot of stress associated with this connection kind of coming from your side here. A lot of maybe anxious feelings or thoughts associated with the connection. I feel as if because of how strong the pull is, there's just this overall sense of anxiety. Now, I'm sure that stems from somewhere. I'm sure we'll get an idea on what the deal with that is, but we'll see when we jump into tarot. This person has free yourself with the Page of Cups in reverse. So here's what's interesting for this energy, with this energy to me, is that the Page of Cups in reverse can represent a lack of emotional availability. So emotional unavailability. And then this person has free yourself. It's almost like they're not letting you love them. Because I feel like you feel this strong pull and you're trying to show up, but then this person, it's almost as if, because the words here, it says you don't need to be in control of everything for a relationship to be successful. And it's almost like their control is getting in the way somehow. And I feel like there's this, their inner guidance is kind of saying, free yourself, let yourself be loved, kind of let go of the wheel. And it just feels like they're continuing to kind of push it in you away. Now, in between this connection, the truth is, take your power back with the Knight of Cups in reverse. So with the Knight of Cups in reverse, it's obvious that this connection has a very strong hold over you. It's obvious that it affects you a lot, maybe more than other connections have in the past or more than current connections do in your life. I feel like there's a lot of emotional intensity associated with this connection. And this Take Your Power Back card is kind of the universe's way of saying, we have to remember that we are in control of our own happiness. We never want to put our ability to be happy, to be loved in the hands of somebody else. And if we are doing that, we kind of have to take a bigger look at that and kind of figure out what's going on below the surface. Now, the overall theme of the reading is past life. So I definitely feel as if this is a past life connection for you, which probably explains the magnetic connection. And what I mean by that is you and this person have met before in some form. And when you met them, it probably felt very familiar, like you had known them your whole life, kind of that whole story of feeling like even though you're just meeting someone for the first time, it's very familiar. You're very magnetically drawn to them. And so I feel like that's definitely an aspect of this connection that you may or may not be aware of. So, all right, let's start, Gemini, with your side of this connection, magnetic connection with the 9 of Swords. What does Gemini need to know about their energy toward this person? What is Gemini's energy toward the person they are dealing with? I want it to flip all the way over, hit the table like that. Okay. Ooh. Page of Cups in reverse. Wow, these are all in reverse. Chariot in reverse, 7 of Wands in reverse, 2 of Wands in reverse. Okay. So I think it's pretty obvious to say that this connection isn't progressing like you thought it would or like you hoped it would because of this person's emotional unavailability. Like right there, Page of Cups in reverse. It almost feels like you want things to go further, or you want things to progress more, but it's almost like this person won't let you, or let things progress, or let you in enough for things to progress in this connection. With the 7 of Wands in reverse, this can be an energy of kind of lacking boundaries, a need to stand up for yourself, a need to make sure that you're still prioritizing, your own needs. Because when we care about somebody else and we're trying to love them and give them that unconditional love, sometimes if we're not careful, we can start to do that to a detriment to ourselves. And I feel like because there's such a strong pull to this connection, and because of how much potential you see in it, sometimes you have a tendency to slip into maybe letting this person cross your boundaries more than you would let somebody else, or not really standing up for your needs to be met because you'll kind of take what you can get from them, kind of thing. But overall, the message is kind of saying you want things to progress, but it's almost like this person won't let them, which is really interesting. All right, I want to know why. You're probably like, me too. All right, Gemini's side of the connection. Eight of Wands, 7 of Swords. Oh, so it's actually, because there's the King of Swords, and then 7 of Swords in reverse, 8 of Wands in reverse, and 6 of Swords in reverse. Okay. So here you are, whether you're male or female, it doesn't matter. I feel like over time, I feel as if like this person's kind of true nature has started to come out. So in the beginning of this connection, I feel like you saw this potential, but then as things move forward, I don't know, like more things about this person started to kind of come out. I don't know if it was like truths that you heard like from this person directly or from other people, or like just behavior. Like I said, kind of like true nature started to kind of reveal itself, which is where, like the biggest thing I get in this connection is like things were going fine, and then just like breaks, like just things just kind of stopped progressing, and it feels like it's almost like this person's emotional unavailability or lack of being able to accept love or something kind of got in the way of things progressing, because I don't feel as if things have been this way this whole time. And I feel like it has you kind of going, well, look what's going on. Do I believe what I was shown in the beginning, or do I believe what I'm being shown now? Like it just feels like there's this kind of confusion with what this person is like thinking and feeling, because I do feel as if their behavior kind of shifted in some way. Or like, it doesn't have to necessarily be behavior, but like their approach, or I don't know. Like I said, like something came out about them. True colors, mask kind of came off maybe. All right, Gemini's side of this connection. I want the card to flip over, hit the table like that. Ooh, the Devil. I want to know what this Devil is, though. I want more on this Devil. I want to know, because what it feels like here, Gemini, is that, well, hang on. Yeah. Okay, so we just saw the Six of Swords in reverse with this last message. And I kind of, I was talking about how you don't really know what to do because you don't know whether you believe, like I said, how things were in the beginning or how they are now. A part of you kind of attached yourself to the outcome of the person that this person kind of showed you they were in the beginning. Because again, there was this magnetic pull that you had to this person, and things probably felt like so intense and so good and so promising. And like I said, as time went on and things kind of started to come out about this person, that changed a little bit. But I feel like you still have this idea of trying to get back to the beginning of this connection. It feels like you're stuck on how things once were, even though things are so different now in this connection. And I don't know what happened with this person. I mean, we're about to jump over to their energy, but it kind of feels like I said, like driving in a car, like things were good. Everything was, you guys were jamming to music, like things were great. And then just like all of a sudden this person just slams on the brakes and you're like, what's going on? Like, I thought we were good. I thought things were progressing, and it just feels like they withdrew, they pulled back, which then of course is going to make you get anxious and nervous and insecure because you're like, what did I do? Like, did this person decide that I wasn't good enough for them? Like, why wasn't I good enough for them? And I feel like it has you kind of overthinking. But I feel like this will kind of uncover more of what's going on with them. Because remember, they have this free yourself card. So it almost feels like they're not letting themselves be loved by you. That's the best way I can describe this. All right. This person's energy toward Gemini. Page of Cups in reverse with free yourself. One more. Interesting. So there's the Knight of Cups in reverse, same one we have in between the connection. Ooh, Queen of Pentacles in reverse and Queen of Swords in reverse. With this moon here. Wow, it's a lot of reversed cards. It's like the energy's there, but unreachable. Okay. Something about this connection spooked this person. Something happened here. I don't necessarily even think it was anything that you did. Like something that this person felt, or something kind of spooked this person. And it feels like because this Queen of Swords in reverse is this energy of like closing off, like putting up a wall, like nope, too much. That's the brakes being put on right here, the Queen of Swords in reverse. It feels like that was the brakes. But something about the Queen of Pentacles in reverse, it feels like something made them feel really like afraid, unsafe, triggered emotionally. Now, honestly, what I think it is the unconditional love you showed up with. It almost feels like that was too much for this person to handle, or is too much for this person to handle. Like it freaks them out. Like they don't know how to accept it. They don't know how to handle it almost. And I feel like that's what kind of made them go like slam those brakes on, as they were like, I don't know what to do with this. I don't believe I'm deserving of this. I don't believe that I'm capable of this, or whatever the case might be. This person's energy toward Gemini. Take that. Yeah, there it is. So Chariot in reverse. Oh my gosh. And the Page of Cups in reverse. It literally is laying it out. It's funny because I'm pretty sure we saw this Page of Cups in reverse with the Chariot in reverse at the very beginning of this reading. And we're seeing the exact same two cards with them with their energy, which is basically confirming this message of their emotional unavailability is what is not allowing things to progress. Now, it's almost like that has you, and I kind of already said this, but I feel like it's really important to hit on, is that has you feeling a little insecure or a little, like not, again, maybe you're questioning whether or not you're good enough. You're questioning whether or not, what you can do to make this person open up to you or make them let you love them or whatever the case might be. I don't know, but it's so interesting because it just feels like it's said several different times. The reason that this connection is not progressing is because of this person's emotional unavailability, not with what it is that you're doing. And I feel like that's got to be very confusing for you because maybe in the beginning of this person came off as very emotionally available. Like if you're dealing with a romantic connection, maybe they really wanted things to work and they said all of these things, promised you all these things or said all of these things and made you feel really good about the connection and then just like switched up on you, which made you go, what the heck? Because of course that's going to make you start to second guess because you're going to sit there saying, I mean, what did I say? What did I do? What do I need to do? And in reality, it's almost like this person got like triggered and afraid of how you were showing up in this connection. And it's not that you were doing anything wrong. I feel like you were showing up with authentic, genuine love. And this person might not know how to accept that. So in order for them to feel safe, to feel in control, right? Like that card said, you don't need to be in control of everything for a relationship to work. In order for this person to be in control, the Queen of Swords in reverse, they put up that wall, they pushed you out. And it's almost like, but I don't feel like they want this to happen. It feels like they actually very much desire the connection to work, but it feels like they don't know how to accept love, especially when there is such a magnetic chemistry and pull here. This person's energy toward Gemini. It's really interesting how it's like the main point of this seems to be like their emotional unavailability here. Oh my gosh, it's so weird how we're seeing all the same cards because double. It's like their emotional unavailability is the reason things aren't progressing. It's not your behavior or your value or your worth or your lovableness or all of the things that you probably are getting in your head about, which is natural to do. Now, one of the things you could be dealing with, like, is maybe someone who's struggling with addiction or mental health issues, and you didn't really realize it maybe in the beginning, but as time went on, like those things started to come out. That might not be for everyone, but something there that is kind of a necessary. Now, what I'm gathering from this message on like a more of a collective scale is this person is pretty unaware of this behavior switch. Like they might not be fully aware of, like this person isn't consciously sitting there thinking, wow, I really want this connection to work, but it makes me feel afraid or out of control when I allow myself to love and be loved, so I'm going to push this person away because it's easier. They're not sitting there thinking through this step-by-step process. Remember, 95% of our movements, choices, and decisions stem from our subconscious. Only 5% of the way we interact with our reality is conscious thinking. So this is straight up just reaction. I feel fear. I don't know what to do. I'll close myself off instead of having the self-awareness to kind of analyze it. And that comes with emotional unavailability. Emotional availability is coming from a place of trying to understand yourself, of trying to get to know your triggers and your shadows so that they don't come in and sabotage a connection. This person isn't aware of those things because this devil energy to me is kind of saying that I feel like it's funny because you're the Gemini in this situation. Now, maybe this could be a reverse reading, but it does very much feel like, and it could be both. It could be both a reverse reading and not. So, take it as it resonates. But I don't know. I just felt the need to say that. It feels like this person has two kinds of personalities in this connection. Like one that is very lovey-dovey, like emotionally, like trying to be emotionally available, maybe telling you all of these wonderful things. And then the other is kind of this shadow energy, this devil energy of just like, get away from me, I'm scared, I don't know what to do. And that is what leaves you really confused, because you're attached to the version of them that you know they can be, or that they've shown you they can be. But then it just feels like over time, their emotional unavailability and whatever kind of behaviors associated with that has started to come out here. But with the Ace of Swords in reverse, this doesn't feel as if it's something that they're aware of. It feels like this person is lacking the self-awareness to be able to, like, even recognize that they're doing this. So, and it's hard when you're dealing with emotionally unavailable people, because you can sit there and you can lay it out for them. Like, when I try to love you, you don't let me. But if they don't have the emotional awareness to be able to understand that about themselves, they're not going to see it. You know, you can't make people hear you or understand what you're saying when they're dedicated to not facing things about themselves. So you could sit there and lay it all out for them, and they could be like, no, you're wrong. Because they don't want to, face those things. Hence the emotional unavailability. Kind of a vicious cycle. But all right, Gemini, let's see. Let's get some more for what you have going on here. It's so interesting, though, because it's like they won't let themselves be loved by you. And that's not your problem. There's nothing you can do to change that. I think that's the hardest thing. Yeah, there's the Three of Swords. It's obvious that this has been very painful for you, because, again, this person showed you someone that you thought that they were, right? You thought that they were the version of them that was emotionally available or wanted to be, and then kind of this emotional unavailability. It's like the more love you showed up with in this connection, or show up with this in this connection, the more they kind of push you away, which is going to hurt, because you've already kind of established the connection. You already have, your idea of what this could be. You're already kind of in deep, and now all of a sudden this person is saying, slamming on the brakes and saying, this is too much for me. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to handle this. Again, they're maybe not verbally saying that to you, but this is their behavior, their reaction kind of talking, which is going to hurt, because you're like, well, I've given so much to this. I've invested in this. I've given my heart to you. I've whatever the case might be. And I feel like it's hard, because you start to, and I've been in situations like this before, you start to take their sabotaging of the connection, or they're pushing you away personally, which it's a personal relationship. That makes plenty of sense. But what this reading is very much laying out is that this doesn't really have anything to do with you. Like, there's nothing you can do to make somebody love themselves enough to accept love, because people can only love and accept love to the extent they love themselves first, right? People can only show up for others to the extent they show up for themselves first. And if this person isn't doing that for themselves, even just like having the awareness to see that they need to, they're not going to show it for you. And of course that hurts, but it can help when you go, but that has more to do with them than it does me. All right, Gemini's side of the connection. All right, so there's the Knight of Cups in reverse, the Nine of Pentacles, the Five of Swords, and the High Priestess in reverse. Ooh, okay. I mean, this is a very triggering connection for both of you, both people in this. I feel like it kind of triggers some deeper wounds here. And again, I just get this, like, especially with this magnetic connection card and the past life card, that there's just such an emotional intensity here that maybe you've never experienced before, which maybe even adds to why this is so hard, because you're like, man, I see how good this could be. I feel this intensity for you. You feel this for me. If you would just freaking let me love you. It's like you want to shake them and be like, freaking let me love you. Because you obviously have, with the Nine of Pentacles here, you have a very much a deep desire for this connection to manifest in the physical world. But one of the things that we have to learn to do, and this is probably the hardest lesson I've learned on this journey, but it's also been one of the ones that has helped me free myself the most, is that we cannot change other people. We can't change, even if how we're asking them to change is what we might think is best for them. Obviously you're like, let me love you, things could be so good. Like that might actually be what is best for them. But the more that you try to force them or, try to get them to see that, the more you end up hurt because you're trying to change them in order for you to be loved. And the more that we try to change other people instead of accepting people as they are and then making our decisions according to what they show up as, the more we get hurt. And I feel like the more that, and that Five of Swords is kind of saying that, you cannot take responsibility for somebody else's inability to love you. You cannot take that on as a challenge and say, fine, I'm going to show you that I'm worthy of love. I'm going to show you that I'm worth it, or whatever the case might be, because the thing is, you should already know that, and this person shouldn't have a say in that. But I get it. Sometimes it's really easy to say, you don't see how great I am and how much I could, how much value I could add to your life. And when we start to question our own value, we start to say, I need you to see that value. I need you to see that I'm valuable. And what that ends up doing is, because you cannot make an emotionally unavailable person emotionally unavailable if they are not even willing to recognize that they are emotionally unavailable. And when we try to do that, when we try to push that, we consistently confirm this belief that we have that we're not good enough to be loved, because we're seeking it from someone who is incapable of giving it to us, which constantly just makes us feel unlovable and not good enough and like it's us. Now, of course, there's always a lesson in every connection, and there's always a mirror, a need to kind of see things from a bigger perspective. But, one of the best things my therapist ever told me was, we cannot take somebody else's inability to love you in the way that you deserve personally, because it does not have to do with you. All right, Gemini side of this connection. But you have to love yourself enough to know what decisions you need to make sure that you are, allowing yourself the same love that you're giving. And when you're giving out so much love and receiving so little back, you're not allowing yourself to be loved fully, because you're looking for it in someone that continues to show you they can't give it to you. Which might not be fun to hear, right? But if you're new to my channel, this is just kind of the way it goes. Trying to bring forth the messages that need to be heard in order for you to ultimately create the relationships that you're deserving of. That's my goal here. Okay, here's the Ace of Swords in reverse. There's something you're unaware of too, and it has to do with this Four of Wands. It's almost like what you need to know is that the idea that you have of this connection, it's like you have an idealized view of this connection. We all do it. We all idealize our future. We idealize our relationships and our partners and the people around us. And very rarely do people ever meet those idealized expectations. But I feel like you have an idea. You're like, if this person would just let me love them, here's what it would look like, and things would be so good, and I'd finally be happy, and blah, 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 blah. What you need to know is that the universe is always supporting you to your highest good. The universe is always taking you to what is better for you. And if something isn't working out, rejection really is divine protection and redirection. And the more that we can look at things from a place of things would be better, or the less we look at things from a place of things would be better if this happened, and the more we look at things from a place of this is trying to lead me to what it is I'm ultimately deserving of, which is oftentimes actually better than we think it can get, then we kind of open ourselves up to a much more abundant life for ourselves. But I feel like I got a little off track there. So let's see what this person is dealing with here. This person's energy toward Gemini. I often get the question, I'm getting some channeling here that I feel like I need to say, that doesn't have to do with cards, is I often get the question, okay, if someone doesn't know how to accept love from me, then how come as soon as like they left me, or how come they can give it to this other person? Or how come, you know, if they won't give me what I want, they can. And my answer always is, people who are unwilling to kind of look at themselves, become emotionally aware, you know, face those not so fun things about themselves, will always look for the easier route. And typically the people that they choose are going to be the people that don't challenge them. They don't trigger them into needing to be emotionally available. They accept them as their emotional unavailable self and are willing to just allow them to exist like that without pushing them to grow. Which obviously isn't going to be healthy for anybody in the long run, and it's not really fair to anyone. But we do have to remember that people who are emotionally unavailable are often going to choose the relationships that don't require them to be emotionally available, which I feel like in this connection, maybe you were asking for them to be more open and more vulnerable and more honest and more emotionally available for you, and that might be when they slammed on the brakes. That does not mean that you shouldn't have asked for those things. That actually is a very good thing if you did ask for those things, or if you did require those things from that person, because that's you knowing what you deserve. This person not choosing to accept the challenge has nothing to do with you and what it is that you're worthy of. Hope that makes sense. All right. This person's energy toward Gemini. Okay. So here's this fear. It's like they have, I don't know what they're afraid of. I mean, they're afraid of this, for sure. I don't know if this is like a past experience, this Ten of Swords. This Ace of Cups in reverse is this energy of kind of like shoving down how they feel. It feels like it's easier for them to kind of not be honest about how they feel and pull back their energy, or kind of walk away from it, or leave it in the past, or, you know, push you away. It's easier for them to do that than to face how they feel. That is just the fact of the matter. And is that fair to you? Absolutely not. But you can't do anything about it. You can't control this person's willingness to face uncomfortable things. Now, if there's anything that I've learned through the healthy relationships that I have very much been blessed with, it's that relationships are uncomfortable. They're going to push you to grow. They're going to push you to face parts of yourself that you don't want to face. And if you are not willing to face those things, the relationship is not going to be sustainable. And if this person isn't willing to do that, that's why I feel like you're not seeing that, like, if this person chose you, but they're still emotionally unavailable, or if this person, you know, whatever the case is, things aren't going to change until this person does the healing and the inner work to go, okay, what do I need to do to be a good partner for somebody else so that I can attract that partner in myself? Because that's the goal. We have to be willing to become the love that we seek. This person's energy toward Gemini. And then once we are that partner, once we are the love that we seek, we have to recognize that we should only give that kind of energy to people who are willing to reciprocate. This person's got baggage. They've got a past. Now, we all have pasts. This is another thing, and I say this in a lot of my readings. Another thing that I've noticed about a lot of about healthy relationships is, you know, we're all adults here. We all have a past. We all have baggage. We all have past relationships. We all have trauma and childhood trauma. Healthy relationships require both people being willing to become aware of that and how it affects their relationships, so that they do not allow it to control them, so that they do not project it onto the other person and make their past baggage and their past trauma the other person's problem. This person is doing that to you here, Gemini. They're saying, I don't know how to open up. I have this past hurt. I don't know how to accept love, and therefore I don't want to face anything associated with that, so it's your problem. And that isn't fair to you. And you have to recognize that, like, yeah, this person isn't letting you love them, but it is also not your responsibility to make them see that they are lovable. In fact, the more that we try to prove to other people that they're lovable who don't say they're lovable, the more in some subconscious way we're actually trying to prove to ourselves that we're lovable and deserving of love. All right, let's get one more here. This person has a past. I mean, and that's the hardest thing is like when you're dealing with someone, you have so much empathy for them. You're like, maybe you can understand why they're emotionally unavailable or understand why they push you away. But remember, unconditional love and empathy does not equal unconditional tolerance. Tolerating someone's behavior or inability to love you in the way that you deserve is lacking unconditional love for yourself. And love and compassion for others, but not for yourself, is incomplete. And we have to remember that whenever we're having empathy for others, is that isn't just because we can understand and have empathy, that doesn't mean that we have to bear the burden of what that person is dealing with. Especially someone who is very willing to or unwilling to be kind of aware and work through their stuff, which is kind of the vibe I'm getting from this person. It just feels like they don't know what they want. Now, people who don't know themselves don't know what they want. They're going to constantly wonder, they're just going to constantly wonder really why they're not happy. Because if someone's not happy with themselves, no relationship is ever going to make them happy. And it just feels like this person, and I'm not demonizing this person. This person obviously has a past of being very hurt, obviously has a past of not knowing how to give and receive love. And that's sad. That is something that is unfair to this person. And they are deserving of love. And, one can only hope that eventually they recognize that. But the more that you allow yourself to get hurt because you're constantly trying to show this person that they're deserving of this love that you have to give, the less that you're allowing yourself that same kind of realization that you are also deserving of love. You are also deserving of the love that you have to give, coming from other people too. So it just feels like this person's all over the place in terms of like, yes, they want this connection, but they're also pushing it away, but they're also unaware of the fact that they're doing that because they're not taking responsibility for their actions, because they don't want to see things about themselves that they've been running from. And all of those things to say is that you can't do anything about that. You cannot make somebody heal. You cannot make somebody see things in themselves that they do not want to see. The only thing you can do is let people be who they are, let people show up like they will, and make your decisions accordingly, even if it sucks, even if it's hard, even if it hurts, because in the end, it's only going to be better for you. We kind of have a tendency to avoid the short-term uncomfortable feelings and pain and struggle, which ultimately creates things to be harder in the long run. So when we kind of face that uncomfortable pain and make the best decision for ourselves in the short term, it always leads to better things in the long term. But I'm getting ahead of myself. In the truth of this connection, you have Take Your Power Back with the Knight of Cups in reverse. I'm going to pull 9 different messages looking at what is the deeper purpose of this connection and the best way for you to move forward in order to align with your higher self. And then I have an advice card that I will be pulling to close out the reading. Thank you so much, Gemini, as always, for your support of my channel. I do hope that this reading helped and resonated for you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, Gemini, I wish you nothing but love and healing on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Gemini.